Hello everybody, we're going to talk about Starfield today, but before we do, let me just explain what's been going on. I've changed jobs now. I've got a bit more time each day to do things because I was doing 12-hour shifts before. That had been no time at all. So now I've got like 5 or 6 hours basically every day to do anything I like, and I don't watch telly. So I might get back to modding, I might get back to video making, I might get back to a few other things. Anyhow, back to Starfield. Let's start with the expansion, shall we? Because I've got a lot to say on Starfield. If you land on a planet and you walk towards an outpost, what do you do at that outpost? You start shooting bad guys. It's that is it, right? Wherever you go on a planet, that is the action on that planet. There's very little else, right? There's not much. I mean, other than places of interest we explore, and it pops up with "Have you found this place of interest?" And there's nothing there but a pretty little rock, right? Other than that, you're shooting things. So what the game actually needed was to get away from that, to get away from shooting, supply something that was a little bit more interesting, that added a little bit more depth to the gameplay. So what did they do? They released a trailer showing lots of shooting against House Faroon. So basically they've added to something that's already been done to death. So unless that expansion has a bit more going on than shooting, I will not be buying it because it doesn't impress me in the slightest so far. That trailer is it's a reason not to get it, basically, in my opinion. So if you look around a map, for instance, and you see all the creatures, they're all exactly the same, or most of them the same. You don't have much variety. Whereas the same with people around towns, you get to see the same person 2 or 3 times. You get a quest character who looks exactly like a shopkeeper, looks exactly like a person's queuing to buy something. So, they need to add variety to the game, and they aren't doing that from what I could tell. All they're doing is adding more of what we've already got. It's making the game very, very grindy. Now, the game may be grindy, right? And grinding may have a place in most games, but it shouldn't dominate the gameplay. Now, the grinding gameplay comes from MMOs mostly. It was a way of filling in time. Now, Elder Scrolls Online had some really good quests, as well as a hell of a lot of grinding. Fallout 76 again, any MMO is just all grinding. In a single player game, the grinding keeps the gameplay going a little bit. But it should be limited, it shouldn't be the same. And when you've got your main quests that starting to feel a bit grindy too, then basically you've made a grindy game which is dull to play. And that's what's happened here with Bethesda's Starfield. It's a bit dull to play. Now they have actually fixed the bugs now. I haven't seen many bugs other than you go around a level and then you're going to come all the way back to get out. You can't just open the door, skip to the entrance like you can in every other Bethesda game. You've got to walk all the way back. So that's a feature of older games made by better people, in my opinion, who basically knew that it was boring to walk all the way back, so saved your legs and give you an exit so you could just go through a door, jump down a cliff, and away you went. These guys who made this clearly haven't learnt that. They haven't got the skills in level design to know that this is what players want. This is why players have fun with the older games, because they're not retracing their steps through every single mission. And if you actually go through some of these missions and you're doing like, oh, Eclipse, bang, bang, bang. Oh, look, Crimson Fleet, bang, bang, bang. Oh, look, House for Room, bang, bang, bang. Same level, different bad guy. And you've got to go through it over and over and over again, which we do, right? Then you suddenly start feeling it is grindy. The main quests, not quests, but the quests you do are grindy. And they shouldn't feel grindy. The quests like that should never feel grindy. Grindy should be something you do when you go to a shop. You say, could you just get me this? Could you just get me that? Could you get me so much iron? That should be grindy. Quests shouldn't be grindy, but when they all run play that way, they are. Now they've done the editor, right, and I think it's been on test for at least February, because I've noticed when I ran it, it says friends of mine that have loaded it up. One of them said February, so he's had it since February, right? I didn't know that. So if he's had it since February, then they've been testing it since at least then. So it's been on the back burner from our perspective from then under test. Back burner's a bad word, I think, isn't it, really? But anyway, it's been under test since then. So hopefully there won't be any major bugs. But unfortunately for us, if there is any major bugs, the chances are we're stuck with them for the next 3 games because Bethesda don't generally fix bugs in the editor. And every time I've been involved in any kind of testing of editors, in my experience, the people that like to grab them first don't really use them and don't really report the issues. But there have been some people who do use them, have been testing them obviously, which hopefully would have reported the issues and not just use it as an excuse to spot the bugs to make their own patches. But hopefully, if they have done their job and they have reported issues, then hopefully it'll be a bit more stable. But until you get a quest maker testing everything up properly, actually making the levels, putting AIs on it, doing the nav meshing, all that kind of scripting, the only way you can possibly know is by downloading somebody's mod and find out it doesn't work. So, but we'll find out how that works out. You know, the patches have made the game stable more or less. It's not so much of an issue anymore. There are bugs in the respect that some things don't quite work the way you'd think they would work, and I've had like 2 crashes in my recent games, but it's been crashes to the desktop more than anything else. That could be driver issues, could be something else. But overall, though, Starfield is what it should have been at launch, and I say should have been by comparing it to what it actually was and what it should have been, I said, without the bugs. Not, it's missing tons of features. It needed, lots of creatures. It's only got a few, which respawn on all planets. It needed lots of people. It's only got a few, and you see them side by side sometimes. Same person next to each other, next to himself, right? So there's lots of things it needed which it hasn't got. I would say it's at the point now where they can start addressing that. Unfortunately, looking at the house per room, shattered space thing, it doesn't look like they're going down that road, does it? It looks like they're just adding more of what we've already got. So it's kind of a little bit like, yeah, it will yeah, well, look, you've done this to death, Bethesda. We don't need more shooting. We need more content. Also, you've got the crafting system, which is hideously well, it's not complicated, but it's hideously messy. It's the amount of resources you need to carry just to research anything before you can even build anything. Now I'm on my third playthrough. Well, not actually my fifth playthrough, but my third playthrough in having restarted the universe. The new game plus thing, right? And I'm getting to the point now after my third playthrough in a row of restarting the game and continuing with the same character that I've got enough skills to do some of the things I wanted to do in the first playthrough. So I think that element of the game, you need to do it really because you get bored grinding away to get your skills up. You need to redo the same quest 2 or 3 times to get your perks in order to do the things you want to do, which means even the main quest is being made to be grindy. Once you've done the main quest 2 or 3 times, you'll have enough experience to build that hut over there. I mean, it's not a good game design. It really isn't. You should be able to do all that on one playthrough, not have to grind like crazy to get your levels up to level 75 so you can actually build some of the things you want to build. And you shouldn't be struggling to hold the resources needed to research and build either. But they take up so much space that you just can't progress. It stops you from progressing. It gets in the way. So I think Bethesda. I think these are all problems modders can solve. Modders are already. There's already an unlimited resource thing out there. You can weightless resources, which would make it easier to carry things. So they can solve these problems. But let's face it, right? Most of the game revolves around the crafting system, and the crafting system's hideous, in my opinion. It's absolutely hideous. The research system included in that statement. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about with Starfield. I've just restarted again for the 4th time actually. I've just done Back to the Ground, Stars of My Destination. That's another point actually. I got the Stars of My Destination by going to Hope. Was it Hope? I can't remember the name now. Anyhow, the company Hope, right, where that planet is. I've already done that quest line, for Freestyle Collective 4 or 5 times in different games because I like Freestyle Collective, right? So why is just travelling to that system finally popped up with, visited all star systems? Because I've been there before. In other games, suddenly, I mean, this is a new game, remember, I've barely been anywhere and I got that one. So if I've got that one in a new game, it's remembering the star system I visited from previous games. But I've been there, I've done that. In the last two, before it actually restarts in New Game Plus, and then after New Game Plus, I've done that a couple of times in this particular run through, and a few times before that. So that should have popped up ages ago. So I'm guessing that they made some changes to the, Stars of My Destination, Visit All Star systems. Otherwise, that would have popped up a lot sooner than it did. So yeah, they're getting through. Oh, there was another thing as well. I did the Crimson Fleet quest line and sided with the Crimson Fleet just to see what would happen. Now, this is a bit of a spoiler, but you don't get any achievements for that. I would have thought that if you sided with the Crimson Fleet, you would get an achievement, but you don't. Nothing's popped up. Also, it has no effects whatsoever on your standing with the UC. They don't suddenly become enemies. What you do get is another base where you can sell and buy stuff versus, equipment to upgrade your ship. So you could have equipment to upgrade your ship or a base to sell and buy and sell stuff. So whichever one you want, that is the ultimate ending. You pick UC, you've got ship parts. If you go the other way, Crimson Fleet, then you've basically got places you can buy and sell stuff. So that's the end result of whichever way you choose. And the battles, yeah, it's interesting. I wouldn't say it's very different from each other. The ending's different, obviously, because the other side won. Crimson Fleet won in this particular game. Says in the other game it was UC. But I've started to see these restart New Game Plus modes as a way of specialising because I've always played specialist characters. I've always specialised, when I've gone to do something, like becoming a necromancer or a barbarian or something like that. So last gameplay, I was going to be a bad guy. So I did. I played the bad guy. Made all the bad decisions. This gameplay, I'm not too sure. I was thinking of just focusing on the submissions on each planet. Maybe settling in the well or in Neo or places like that, and just focusing on the little aspects of the game. And when you do a new game plus, you get to like think, okay, I restarted. I've got all these skills now. I can make the most out of these. Let's see what level 75 can do in the same mission in the same places, and just take it from there. And that's what I'm doing this time. I've done a lot of the ones on New Atlantis. I moved over to Neo to do a few quests, and I'm going from there. But I've done the Neo ones before. I found initially they were a bit messy. But the New Game Plus mod allows you to think, well, this time I'm going to be a cowboy. This time I'm going to be a UC pilot. This time I'm going to save Ludinium. That kind of thing, right? And that's the only redeeming factor of the gameplay, I think, that way is when you restart. Because you can restart with a level you had rather than, starting again from level 1. So you could start with more experience and the game is so grindy that is the only. In fact, I think that might be why they introduced the New Game Plus mod, is because they know the game is grindy, and that people won't replay it if they've got to go from level 1 over and over and over and over again. At least that's my thought on it, anyway. Right. Anyway, I'll chat to you later, and let us know what you think. Remember, they've been patched. The creation kit's out. Mods have started to appear. Let us know what you think and tell us if you've got any favourite mods as well. See you later.